morning, Unity community. Hi, I'm Deborah Giddings. I'm your board president, and I am so happy to be here with you today. And happy almost Independence Day. Freedom ring. Okay. Give me a second here. We're just really glad to have all of you here today. And we have a special guest speaker, Reverend Kathleen Kerswick, also known as Reverend KK, who's going to be speaking about freedom and awareness. So welcome, Reverend KK. I want to thank you all for your support through prayer, being in service, and in tithing. Some of you have asked, can I make an in-kind contribution in addition to my tithe? Absolutely. Your in-kind contributions help us to keep our office supply expenses manageable. I was informed by the lady at the top that we are running low on white copy paper. So if you want to pick up a ream or a box and bring it in next week, it would be so appreciated. Now, when you arrived, you should have been handed a bulletin as well as song sheets. You're coming at me, I can tell. So when you arrived, you should have been handed the July bulletin as well as the song sheets. Just a reminder that you can support us by recycling them at the end. Just put it on the greeters table. All right. So now that's okay. So let us pick up that July bulletin and affirm with passion what we know about unity. Our welcome affirmation together. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. And here at Unity, we welcome, value, and include all people. Now, there's a new July affirmation that you can add to your prayer practice on this bulletin. Remember, these affirmations are in keeping with our 2023 theme, which is Flying in Faith. Our July affirmation is, flying in faith, I call forth my God power of zeal and am able to meet every day and every situation with enthusiasm, courage, and faith. All right, let's just say it together with zeal. Together, flying in faith, I call forth my God power of zeal and am able to meet every day and every situation with enthusiasm, courage, and faith. Now, as we prepare for our opening prayer, I'm going to ask our worship assistant, Kate, to come up and light our Christ candle as a reminder to all of us that the Christ light always shines within each of us. Thank you, Kate. Now let us pray. Take a breath in. And as we open our hearts, we come together in one mind, divine mind, and we are grateful. As we go within, we harmonize with the spiritual light of zeal. And in this space of grace, we embrace the fire in our soul. And we meet every day and every situation with a purpose, with enthusiasm, courage, and faith. We embrace our choices. As we go into a moment of silence, let us affirm in our mind's eye, I am the magnificent power of zeal. I am the magnificent power of zeal in the silence. As we return from the silence, we notice that we are alive, awake, and aware. We are ready to move forward. these gifts. For this presence, we say, thank you, sweet Spirit. And so it is. Amen. Now, Miss Carolyn and the choir are going to sing some songs. Carolyn?
Absolutely. So not just us, all of you are going to sing some songs. So you should have been handed a lyric sheet on your way in. So we're going to ask you to pick that up and stand as you're able. And we're hoping to raise the vibration with a little music this morning, right? I see the sun poking out. Let's take advantage of that. We're going to start with I Can See Clearly Now.
Wow. Now that was beautiful. Thank you, Carolyn and the choir. My name is Kate, and I am here as a worship assistant today, and I'm going to tell you what's happening here at this church, okay? So today, of course, you planned it really well because it is the first Sunday of the month and it is potluck. So I've been told if you're still at home, even in your jammies, come on down. Don't worry, you can watch the service afterwards. And there's always enough, and you can make a monetary donation if you've forgotten to bring something to share. So, and, okay, maybe you'll come because of this. It's also Birthday Sunday. And thank you, Julie, for bringing in the cake. I saw it's from Mazzucato's. I mean, really, we're going all out here, you know?
It was still hard to bake.
So there is a sign-up sheet at the greeter's desk, and I noticed we need somebody for November and December. So, hey, sign up and maybe fill us with whatever kind of cake you like to bring in. So if today is your birthday, please stand. And well, let me actually, before you stand, hang on. Huh?
This month.
This month. What did I say now? Okay, well, because see, I got kind of goofed up because it is someone's birthday today. Okay, so just leave it up to me, you know. Anyhow, let me share with you the birthdays that we have for this month. Brittany Jones, Rob Morehouse, Bob Leo, Marie Main, Bonnie Rowe, Shirley Smith, Lee Dittman, and Agnes Rose. And guess what? We have a visitor that it's actually her birthday today. That's why I got all bunched up. She's in from Jerusalem, Ileana Atiyah. So let's stand up. And anybody else's birthdays, stand up. Only the birthday people. Sorry, I'm getting all mixed up today. We celebrate. And for those of you at home, we are applauding you as well. So, see, this is why you need to come down here. No, I'm not the only reason. We're here, right? So. All right. Beginning next Sunday, July 9th, Reverend Christine and members of the board will be holding an in-person class on Unity's 5 principles. It will run 3 consecutive Sundays from noon to 2, and you should pre-register. And know that if you attend all 3 of these classes, you can be eligible for the Unity membership. Now, if any of these classes you can't make it, just speak to Reverend Christine and she'll try to work out something with you. And the class is open to everyone. You don't have to become a member, whatever. All I can tell you is you'll deepen your faith. And every time you go, there's different people, so different subjects come up and we go to different layers of our oneness. All right. With everything happening in this church, right, and now just the way the world is and everything, we want to remind you all that we have the meditation service on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. It's on Facebook only, and it's 30 minutes. And so, pencil that in on your calendar as well. And there's just nothing like being able to be at the same time with people and the vibrations that go out. It's fabulous. And just so you know, the first Wednesday of every month is on peace. And so, and the others focus on the monthly affirmation. All right, we're rushing now into the greeting time. So please stand, but remain at your chair as we offer each other the Gandhi blessing. And as you know, it's a call and response. So if you're able to stand again, stand and take the time as we say these words to have them come from your heart space. And I will lead. I offer you peace.
I offer you peace.
I offer you love.
I offer you love.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you friendship.
I see your beauty.
I see your beauty.
I hear your needs.
I hear your needs.
Our wisdom flows from the highest source.
Our wisdom flows from the highest source.
And I salute that source in you.
And I salute that source in you.
Let us work together for unity and peace.
Let us work together for unity and peace.
Amen.
Amen.
Whew, you can have a seat. Please join me in affirming our statement of faith, which is on the bulletin. Together. There is only one presence and one power, active as the universe and as my life, God the good, omnipotent. Amen. And today's daily word is guidance. And may we affirm, I seek, trust, and follow my guidance. And the message, seeking divine guidance means tuning out information and opinions and turning inward. Then, with an open heart and a quiet mind, I can better feel the nudge of my intuition, my inner voice. I receive divine guidance much in the way flowers in a field soak up sunshine. Just as following the sun is innate for them, I have the instinct to trust my inner knowing. Even if my guidance surprises me, I trust it to lead me on the path to my highest good. I follow where I feel called to go. I heed the still, small voice within and pay particular attention to the serendipitous circumstances I find along the way. I seek, trust, and follow my guidance. As I do, I deepen my relationship with God, knowing wherever I go, I do not travel alone. And from Isaiah 58:11, the Lord will guide you continually. Again, the daily word for today is guidance, and may we affirm, I seek, trust, and follow my guidance. Amen. And Deborah.
Would the ushers please come forward? Thank you. This is the time in our service when we have a most amazing opportunity. We get to experience the feeling of abundance. We get to experience that feeling of the joy of giving. It is amazing. Think about when you bought a gift for someone that you just couldn't wait to give them. You knew it was the perfect gift. You couldn't wait to give it to them. And you were dancing around going, I can't wait to give them. That's the feeling. Hold on to that feeling as you take your gift into your heart. And now if it's a tangible gift, whether it's a check or cash, you'll be able to give it today to the ushers. If it's online, you can go to unityhartford.org, click the donate button, and give a gift that way. And if you're at home, we invite you to join us in making both that tangible gift, and I invite you to hold an intangible gift in your heart, something that you really want to share with this community, whether it be abundance or joy or oneness, prosperity, whatever that gift is. I invite you to hold it into your heart. Because we know thoughts and mind produce after their own kind. We know that when we freely and joyfully give, we are opening ourselves up to the abundance of the universe. So hold that gift and join me in saying our offering blessing together. Divine love flowing as me blesses and multiplies all that I am and have, all that I give and receive, and so it is. Amen.
When I'm looking at myself, I see 1,000 perspectives of me. Everyone is letting me show a side of myself I can't see. Wide awake now, I'm free of the doubt. Don't wanna look down. And if I fall out, lay on the
Carolyn. And now I have the honor and privilege to introduce today's speaker, Reverend Kathleen Kerswig. Her talk title today is Freedom in Awareness. Now, Reverend Christine, it's usually Reverend Carolyn. Reverend Kathleen is a member of this Unity Church, and prior to becoming an ordained minister, she was also a licensed Unity teacher and a church manager for a Florida Unity Church. Please put your hands together and join me in giving Reverend KK a hand.
Christine, Kathleen, it's all the same, right? Oh, good morning, everybody. It's so good to be back here in Hartford or Windsor. Where are we? Windsor? Connecticut. I live in Massachusetts now, so it's a little confusing for me. But I left early this morning, and I can't tell you how excited I was to be here with you today. Freedom in awareness. What am I talking about? Do you think that it's possible to continuously walk in the awareness of the presence of God within 24/7? I see a couple heads nodding. I heard somebody say no.
24/7?
Try it. See how quickly you forget. Driving I-91. Actually, it wasn't that bad this morning. No, I'm talking about understanding and walking in this awareness of the presence of God constantly, right? Now, I could probably ask this question in general, and I would get if there's 50 people here, I'd get 50 different answers of what you think God is, who you think God is, all of that stuff, right? So I'm talking about you being aware of some sort of divine power that is inside of you, that is being through you. And that means that God or source or whatever you want to call it, universe, I don't care, Gus, whatever. That's short for guy upstairs. That's not for me. I can't take credit for that. I heard that in 12-step meetings. Anyway, Gus, whatever you want to call your higher power, right? That means that power, that energy, that divinity is seeing through my eyes, is speaking through my words, touching, intuiting, right? All the time. Only I'm not always aware of that. Right? How appropriate it was that we sang the songs that we sang, Day by Day, Perfect, right? And then I can see clearly now. And then that song that you sang so beautifully about seeing through new eyes, that's what I'm talking about. Because I'm going to promise you this. When you are aware of that divine presence within you, not outside of you, although it's there too, but when you're aware of that divine presence within you, you see things, people, situations completely differently. Completely differently. When I am up on my spiritual game, people cutting me off on the highway don't get the finger. I don't really give the finger to anybody, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean, right? I don't shout, I'm not cursing in the car or anything like that, but I'm gentler with them in my reactions when I'm on top of my spiritual game. But if I'm off balance, if I'm not really feeling it for whatever reason, and let's face it, folks, we're not saints. We're not always feeling it, right? When I'm not there, then my reactions are quicker, they're harsher, they're more pronounced. Are you with me? Right? Yeah. Can you relate a little bit at least? Please say yes. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So when I was in Florida going to Unity of Fort Myers, I heard about this book called Practicing His Presence. And it's a book compiling some letters written by Brother Lawrence, who was a member of a monastery back in the mid-1600s, who did this experiment of trying to wash the dishes constantly aware of the presence of God. Washing dishes. I gave a version of this talk a couple of weeks ago, and somebody said, God doesn't do dishes. Yes, God does. If you're doing dishes, God's doing dishes. Right? That divine power is going, you're gonna go home, you're gonna do dishes in a much more gentler fashion now. You're gonna take care of those dishes. I can just see it already. Right? The other part of that book, Practicing His Presence, talks about somebody named Frank Laubach, and he was a missionary in the Philippines back in the mid-1900s, and he also wrote about his experiences with practicing the presence and trying to remember. And he wrote about how difficult it was, right? Because I'm standing in front of you now, and some of you have already forgotten. Nobody's sleeping yet, I'm checking. But no, but seriously, right? There are some people who may be here who may be going through a very serious challenge at home, maybe. Maybe you have a loved one that's sick, or maybe there's a question about work and you don't know what's going on. And maybe your mind is going there. And that's okay. But I'm talking about you joining me on this journey of experimenting with this idea, of trying to see how often you can be aware of the divinity within. It's very, very powerful. I want to read you a quote from the book by Emily Cady, How I Use Truth. If God is in us, I'm sorry, let me start this again, I read that wrong. If God in us is the fountainhead of all that we can ever need for fulfillment in our lives, then awareness of his presence in us as our all-sufficiency can redeem us from lack and suffering. The secret lies in being aware of his presence and then availing ourselves of its redeeming power. Has anybody here ever found themselves thinking in a lack consciousness? Ever? If every hand is not up in this place, I'm telling you what. No. Right? We've all been there. Yes? Suffering, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, all of that. We've been there. Why is that? Well, it's because we have this thing going on. We are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe, governed by spiritual law, having a human experience. Yes. So I was taught a long time ago when I first started coming to Unity that I need to embrace my humanity in order to express my divinity. I'm going to say that again. I need to embrace my humanity if I'm going to express my divinity. Truthfully, authentically. We can all do it. But I have to embrace the fact that I have this human thing going on. And that human mind likes to try and get in the way a little bit. Throws little thoughts in there to just get me off my game. Right? I've learned how to say to those thoughts, thanks for showing up, I appreciate it, you can go now. Yeah. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But this idea of lack and suffering, it's happening, it's going to happen. How am I going to react to it? How am I going to be with it? How can I shift it? How can I reframe? Any way you want to put that, right? There is something that we can do. We can remember simply that we are filled with this divine presence. So a couple of reminders for all of you. Number one is you cannot get rid of that divine presence within you whether you want to or not. I don't care how much you try. I don't care how much you deny it to the world. Oh no, not me. Not divine, not holy. No, no. I don't care how much you do that, you still are. Which, I don't know about you, but for me, that's really good news because I have this tendency sometimes when I'm really in my human element, I have this tendency to try and self-sabotage. And I can't with this. I can't get rid of it. I can't break the bond that you and I all have. We are connected whether you like it or not. You may leave here today and go, boy, I don't know what she was talking about. But I'm still connected to you whether you like the talk or not, right? But that's good news too. Because we can all relate to each other, right? When we go through something, have you ever noticed when you go through something challenging, usually the universe puts someone or some people in your life who have already gone through that experience and help you through it? Or you go through something and then a friend of yours goes through something very similar and you're right there to help them through it. You ever notice that? Yeah, that's not random. I don't believe that's random. I think that's something called divine choreography. I just made that up. I did, it just, of course I studied dance when I was younger, so that's probably where the choreography came in. But the thing is, that's what I think of it as, divine choreography. It just happens. I said to someone earlier today that I don't think we can miss out on something we're meant to experience.
Right.
I think the lesson's going to come whether I want it or not.
Right.
And it comes over and over again until I learn it. Right? Yeah. All right, my friends. Awareness. Awareness. How about the daily word today? The scripture from the daily word from Isaiah 58:11 said, "The Lord will guide you continually." Huh? And just for my talk, right? The only thing is, they printed this or they scheduled this reading 6 to 9 months ago. How did they know what I was going to talk about? Right? And the affirmation, I seek, trust, and follow my guidance. We talk about that a lot in Unity, don't we? Right? Follow that inner voice, whatever it is. That inner voice sounds like me most of the time. Sometimes it sounds like other people I know. Sometimes it's Reverend Christine in my head. In a good way. I did my internship here. I meant that in a good way, Christine. No, you hear your friends, don't you? You do hear them in your mind. Sometimes I hear my mom or my dad or my Nana. You know? But we follow it. I seek, trust, follow my guidance. I think part of our challenge is we don't always trust it. We don't always, how do I know it's divine voice? Go with it. You'll learn. You'll follow. You'll know. Chances are, I had to learn this early on, chances are that if it's something, if I think I'm being guided to do something that's going to hurt another human being, I'm not going to do it. If I'm afraid that I might hurt another human being, I'm not going to do it. I should say hurt any beings whatsoever, not just humans. Right? But practicing and experimenting is the only way that we're going to get better at this, right? So if you leave here today with nothing else, remember this. When you walk out the door, it's about experimenting and practicing and trying. You can't fail. The only way that you can fail is if you tell yourself that you have not done a good enough job. Knock it off. Stop telling yourself that. I do a lot of work with people in recovery, recovering from addictions, alcoholism, drug addiction, et cetera, right? And one of the things that I remind them all the time, because trying to get sober is very challenging, it's very difficult, and what a miracle it is when you do. And so when I work with people in recovery and I tell them about this, I remind them, if you put your head on the pillow and you haven't picked up a substance, if you haven't done what you usually do and you haven't picked up the whatever it is that you're addicted to, if you haven't done it for that day, success. I don't care what else happened during the day. It is so difficult, especially in the beginning. So I'm telling you with this also, practicing, experimenting. You put your head on the pillow and you know you put an effort into it. I don't care if you just did it for 1 minute. Success. Because it's probably more than you've ever done before, right?
Right.
And then you build upon that, and you build upon that, and you build upon that. And then you share it with your friend. And you tell them, guess what? I did it for 5 minutes yesterday. I know there's 24 hours in a day, but I did it for 5 minutes. In the awareness, remembering I'm seeing through God's eyes, I'm touching through God's hands, I'm speaking through God's words. Right? Divine. I tend not to use the word God as often because it doesn't, God to me sometimes reminds me of what I grew up with. God sometimes reminds me of what I thought God was, which is a being in the sky kind of judging me from up above. And God is so much more. God is an energy in me, around me. There is nowhere I can go that I'm not walking through this divine energy. And when I have that awareness, I glow. You glow when you're walking in that awareness. Part of that book, Frank Laubach, the Philippine missionary, or missionary in the Philippines, he wasn't Filipino, he wrote about the fact that he didn't like small talk. He thought it was a waste of time. And he wanted to talk to people about this experience of practicing the presence of God in everything that he did. And he even wrote that, it might have gotten on some people's nerves, maybe. So I must confess to you that that's what I've been doing. Last 4 weeks, I have been speaking at different Unity churches, so I haven't been able to come here. And this is all I've been talking about. Like everywhere I go, I'm like, do you know about this? Have you heard about this? Have you tried it? Because it's so hard. It's so hard and so worthwhile, right? Again, I can't adequately put into words what it feels like when you're in the zone. Any sports fans here? I'm a big sports fan. In the zone means you're really on your game in this moment. And when you're really on your game with this type of experiment, oh man, there's like no other feeling like it. You see other people differently. Ex-spouses become human. People at work that you never get along with, all of a sudden you're like, aw, You can see deeper into them. We have this phrase, I know Reverend Christine uses it, she says namaste, and what that means is, however you want to word it, but the spirit in me acknowledges the spirit in you, right? This experiment helps you to really see into that person, to understand if they're acting in a way that you're not really fond of, there must be a reason. And then you can have some compassion. But it's challenging. It's challenging. In the book, again, Practicing His Presence, it's called. It's with Frank Laubach and Brother Lawrence. Frank talks about start with just choosing a favorite hour in your day. And try and just sit there and think about the presence. What does that feel like? The energy that you feel in your body in any given moment, you're sitting there right now, you're breathing in and breathing out, right? But that energy in you has a divinity that unless I'm really focused on that, I forget. There is a divinity in every single cell in my body. There's divinity all over the place in here. We can feel that energy in here, can't we? Right? We could feel it when we were all singing together. Right? We sounded good, by the way. Yeah, it sounded great. Pick that favorite hour and start. Now, I will admit to you that it will be much easier to start this practice in an hour where you're just sitting and you're being alone and you're being quiet. It will be easier to do than when you get up to go talk to a grandchild, a child, a spouse, a coworker. It's easier to forget and be out of that awareness of God's presence. Some of us like to refer to the Christ presence within us. It doesn't mean Jesus is inhabiting us. It means the Christ presence, that energy, that divinity. If we could just get it through our heads how cool that is, if we could just live from that understanding, do you know how much better things would be? And we have to lead by example, right? We have a tough world out there. We have a very tough world out there. How am I going to deal with it, right? I don't want to sit in some sort of state of mind where I pretend none of it's happening. I don't want to sit and pretend that there aren't things that need to be corrected. Right? But when I practice this experiment, more ideas come to me about how I can help correct those situations. And not everybody is going to be called to do the same thing. Some people will be called to go out and protest, whatever. I'm not taking sides on anything. I'm just saying go out and protest. Others are going to be inspired to go out and help a group of people. Others are going to be inspired to run for office. Some people are going to be, you're going to be inspired in all different ways. And none of it is insignificant. All of it is important because it takes all of us to strive to do better. Not strive for perfection. How many get caught up in perfection? Anybody here? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to eliminate that word from our vocabulary, and we're going to say we're not striving for perfection, we're striving for excellence. Is that better? That wasn't a very good one. You guys come up with something else and tell me next week when I'm here as a spectator. You can share with me what other words you come up with. But I don't personally do well with the word perfection because I get too caught up in it and then I don't do anything. So progress, yes. And excellence. Those are two. I can strive for excellence because I'm never really going to get there. I'm going to keep striving for excellence. And when I get to a certain point, then I'm going to strive for more, right? We don't have to judge ourselves on how we go about this experiment that we're going to try together, right? There was a lot of joy that came in the writings of Brother Lawrence and Frank Laubach. A lot of joy that came. They were just overwhelmed with the feeling and the energy that goes along with it. One of the phrases that Frank used was, there are days of contentment. Now, I don't know about you, but in my younger years, I didn't even know what feeling content meant. I had no idea what that was because I was never content. It felt like I was fighting life on a daily basis. And now I don't have to fight life anymore, and now I know what feeling content is all about. I want more of that, and that's what he wrote, so I'm going to go for it, right? So I want you to join me, because this is going to be an ongoing thing. This is going to be an ongoing experiment that I will not stop until I am no longer present on this planet and move on to my next journey. This is huge to me. I'm hoping it might be huge to some of you as well. It's possible to keep moving and keep improving. There's freedom in the awareness of the presence of the divine. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you.
All right. So everyone who is able, stand. We're going to form a circle. We're going to sing the peace song, and then you're going to stay standing, and Kate is going to lead us in the prayer for protection.
I just want to get Carol on my right.
All right. We can do it. We always do. All right. Looks like we're getting settled. Let's take a deep breath together. Yes. And sing our Unity Peace song.
Oh, that's beautiful. You can still. I feel the energy in this room. Feel free to remain standing as we close with the prayer of protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Woo! Please have a seat. I'll tell you, at one time we had a hard time getting in circles. We have that mastered. Woo! You're going to be done. Deborah. As we bring our service to a close, Deborah will turn off the Christ candle. However, we all know and affirm that the Christ light within us can never be dimmed. We are always one with the divine.
sweetheart.
All right. So now we get the opportunity to thank everyone who helped to put on today's prayer service. But before I do that, I have a couple of quick announcements. I want to give you a construction update. The entire church has been painted with 2 coats of paint. The restrooms today are open, and you are invited to walk the church, but there are 2 offices that the prayer chaplains are going to be using at the front of the church, so please don't go in there. And don't touch the walls. They're freshly painted. And just be careful. It feels dusty in there, so if you have any breathing problems, do not go in there until we can get everything cleaned. But you can use the restrooms. All right. So let's thank everyone, and I'm going to read the list off, and then we can clap. But I want to begin by thanking our prayer chaplains who hold us in sacred prayer. They hold this space of grace for us throughout the entire service. And we have 2 prayer chaplains today who are open to pray with you down the hallway in the first office, which was Tony's office, and then there's a new office on the right down there. And those 2 prayer chaplains are Marie and Wendy. Would you please stand? They're going to be down in those offices after the service. If you have any prayers, if you'd like to get with the divine presence, just the thought. Thank you. Your prayer requests can also be emailed to prayerrequest@unityhartford.org, and our prayer chaplains receive those, they pray with you, and they hold your request in confidence. And remember to take a moment to visit the prayer chaplain table near the back door, light a candle, open up some energy for someone you love or yourself. There are many others who helped us with today's service, especially our worship assistant, Kate, the audio and iPad tech team, Marty and Tony and Julie, the greeters, Lois and Gail, the ushers, Rob and Leah, the choir, Liston, Rob, Wendy, and Kathy, our hospitality team, Jocelyn, George, Daniel, and anyone else who helped out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, we do have a packet of information about this church and the Unity Worldwide movement that we would like to give to anyone who is here for the first time or who's kind of curious and been here before but not sure. Would like to, if you want to receive that packet of information, just raise your hand and one of the greeters in the back there, Gail, and one of the greeters will get you that packet of information. If you're online and you've maybe been here for your first time or been here for your 10th time and you're like, who are these people? We'll send you that package of information. Just send an email to officemgr@unityhartford.org with your mailing address. I think that's it. It's Potluck Sunday. I know everybody's cramming to get out of their chairs. So, Carolyn, we're going to have a closing song today.
Oh, my goodness.
What is that closing song?
Yeah, I'm going to sing it so fast. Just kidding. This song is called I See the Light, and it is from the movie Tangled. All those days watching from the windows, all those years outside looking in, all that time and never really knowing just how blind I've been. Now I'm here blinking in the starlight. Now I'm here, suddenly I see. Now I'm here, it's oh so clear. I'm where I'm meant to be. And at last I see the light. And it's like the fog has lifted. And at last I see the light. And it's like the sky is new. And it's warm and real and bright. And the world has somehow shifted. It's like the sky is new, and it's warm and real and right, and the world has somehow shifted. All at once, everything is different. Now that I see you, now that I see you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to everyone for joining us here today, both here in person and online and from afar and all that jazz. We hope you can join us on Wednesday for meditation service on Facebook. It's from 7 to 7:30 p.m. And we also hope to see you next Sunday here in person or on Facebook for 10:30 Sunday celebration service. Enjoy potluck, oh my goodness, and enjoy your week, and happy 4th.